This is Daf Yom Yerushalmi. In the article, the hard edition, we're doing Daf Mem Ches, and we're starting from the beginning of Halacha Zayin, which is a few lines down on the page. And in the Vilna, it's called Gimel Amud Aleph. Also Halacha Zayin, also a few lines down on the page. Says the Mishnah, "Halakei tevel shtei mekomos." You bought tevel, definitely tevel, and that means that there's nothing was taken off of them. Ma'asim izeh, you can take ma'asim from one and the other. Really, you're not supposed to sell tevel in order not to be machshel. Some of you might not take off chumas and maasros, but here we're talking about the buyer. The buyer is buying tevel, and he can take chumas and maasros off one batch of tevel on another batch of tevel, from one batch of tevel another batch of tevel. Says more. Amar B'Yonim, we said kini mas nisim. Eno l'shalim kor tevel el tzorech. The person, the seller, is not allowed to sell tevel unless there's a necessity. The Pnei Moshe in the Mishnah gives an example. He says, "El tzarek kagon shnis arev lechavero tevel b'chulin." His friend had got tevel mixed up in chulin. Then the konach yasa mimakam acher. He can't take up therefore the chumas maises from the tarodes, from the mixture, so he has to take off the chumas maises from elsewhere, and that's why he's buying tevel for that purpose. It says Gemara, uvad the chaver. You have to sell to chaver because a chaver, you can assume, is trustworthy to take up chumas maises, not to an amoritz. Mata amoritz nisarv tivlo b'chulin. So what about an amoritz? Amoritz, his tevel got mixed up with chulin, and takona. What's he going to do? He needs to buy tevel in order to take up chumas and maises. Nobody's going to sell him tevel. So what should he do? Holech etzel chaver. He goes to a chaver. The chaver will buy for him tevel, and of course the chaver is licensed to buy tevel. Umasrolo, and the chaver will take the maisa for him. Obviously, we're talking about a very proper society in which nobody sells tevel unless they know it's somebody like a chaver is going to take off shumas and maisros. Okay, halacha ches. The Mishnah says, "Ma'asrin b'shal Yisrael shal akum." As we will see in the Gemara, our Mishnah is going with the assumption that it's going like Reb Meir holds, "Ein kinyan la'akum be'Yisrael lafkim idei shumas and maisros." Even land cultivated by non-Jews chayav in shumas and maisros. So you can be maisa from Yisrael on the produce of a goy. B'shal akum al shal Yisrael from a goy and the produce of Yisrael. B'Yisrael shal kutin on Samaritans. B'shal kutim al shal kutim. He also maisa from the kutim on the kutim. So the Pnei Moshe says, they call meiser when they eat themselves. But we know kutim are not concerned with lifnei iver. Tevel. The badai. They sell definite tevel. Lo chai she'adrosha lifnei iver l'titim michshol therefore, it's an akkosh from lifnei. You're taking from chiyuv on chiyuv. Now, b'shalkutim al shalkutim, the Tanakama says that's okay, but Eliezer oser b'shalkutim al shalkutim. Eliezer says no, and the Pnei Moshe expansion is zimni ma'aser and havshay. Sometimes he takes a mice for himself and and changes his mind and he sells it. Shema echa musa v'charena musa. So maybe one of these batches has mice and the other one's not. Some Rav Shimon P'tur al Chiyuv. So you take off from the P'tur and the Chiyuv, or Chiyuv and the P'tur. And of course, the Pnei Moshe ends. Not time of the Mishnah. Time of the Mishnah, they were still considered to be Jews, at least to a certain extent. I think to a full extent, but Jews who committed sins. Okay, it says the Mishnah further. If you have a perforated flower pot and fruit produce is going in that perforated pot, it's considered to be as if it's going on the land. So it's no different than anything going out on the land. So therefore, if you take truma from the land-based produce, on the perforated flower pot-based produce, and vice versa, truma. But if it's not perforated, it doesn't have holes, so then it's considered not affiliated to the ground. So if you take from so chayav and truma is the rabbana, not the raisa. So you can take if you took off from Mishain Nakov Al Nakov Truma, it is Truma. The Rabbanim decide it's called Truma. V'yachsav Yitrom Mina Nakov She'enu Nakov. I mean, actually, I'm sorry. He should go and has to take Truma again on the one which is on the one which is Nakuv from either another Atzitz Nakuv or from the ground. Mina Nakuv Al She'enu Nakuv. What about vice versa? So same principle. Obviously, Enu Nakuv is not Chaim and Shumas Ma'aser Doraisa, only the Rabbanan. So there's not therefore the it's not true Truma. Uh, um, uh, the Truma v'lo telcha ad sheyotzei Trumas Ma'aser. It's Truma, but you have to take Trumas Ma'aser off the Truma which you took from the perforated flower pot on the non-perforated flower pot. Torah min admai admai. Take Truma from my and my. I mean, the Maya Vadai. And from the Maya Vadai. Truma v'yachsa v'yitrom. It's Truma, but you have to take Truma again because we don't know. It's two types of Demai, two sources of Demai. Could be one's Meiser and one's not. And so even the Maya and Vadai. The Demai might be Meiser and might not be Meiser. So it's Truma v'yachsa v'yitrom. And so min Vadai. My Truma v'lo techal. Similar to what we said before by the flower pots. It's Truma, but you can't eat it until you Trumas and Meises, until you take up Trumas and Meises on the Trumas and Meises, which you took up from the Vade and the Demai. Says my Masisra Dry Meir. Our mission goes over Meir. Amar Enkin Lakum, Berit Soft, Gilmi and Meiser. Anything a non-Jew who grows stuff which grows in non-Jews area in Eretz Yisrael still Chaim Trumas and Meises. Rabbi Yehuda Shimon argue. They say Yeshkin, Yeshkin Lakumer, so Pochim Mina Meiser. So therefore, stuff which goes to non-Jews' land would be parted from Meiser. Rabbi Ami Shem Rabbi Shimon Lakish. Time to Rabbi Meir. What's the pasuk which or the drush which is Sosar Meir? V'isnachaltem osam livnechem acharechem l'reshes achuzah. This story about Avodim. Avodim Kananim, non-Jewish slaves, you could bequeath them to your children after you as an estate. Ahuzah is a hold in the land, a landhold, an estate. Hikish achuzah avodim. So here avodim is like an achuzah, but the converse is true as well. Achuzah is like avodim. An estate is like slaves. Ma avodim atim konim mehem. Just like avodim, you can acquire with a kinyan guf, you can acquire non-Jewish slaves from them. They they acquire a slave from you that's not kinyan guf. It doesn't be. It's like an indentured servant, but it's not actually a kinyan guf. So to the estate, you can acquire from them, and you can make something which used to be didn't have kedusha into kedusha. Such as if you conquer something from outside Eretz Yisrael. V'heim eno konimikem, and they can acquire from you. So again, of course, they can acquire it, but it doesn't lose its kedusha saguf, doesn't lose its essential kedusha if they buy it from you. Rabbi Lezer, Rabbi Yossi, Kum Rabbi Yosa, Rabbi Asa. Lezer Rabbi Yossi said in front of Rabbi Asa, "V'domasai Rabbi Meir." This is evidence for Rabbi Meir's position. For its the land should not be sold forever. Ki li haaretz. The land belongs to me, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So, the we translate l'chul tenei, muchlat. It can't be absolutely the belong to the can't absolutely belong to the non-Jew. It's not sold to him to be his. So he sold to him as kind of like a leasehold or something like that, where it's not, and therefore it's not mafkir from Trumas and Maisrus. Amalei kol grama mardu Messiah Rabbi Shimon. No, this entire pasuk is evidence for Rabbi Shimon that yesh kini lakum mafkir midei Trumas and Maisrus. Why? Because the way we read the pasuk is loti macher litzmisus. Don't sell because it's going to be tzamuz. That's why you shouldn't sell. You shouldn't sell because it's going to be the chultanei. Not lo simacher, misus, meaning it won't be sold definitively. No, don't sell it because it'll be definitively the non-Jews. So it's a different way of reading the pasuk. Nimkra chaluti. Rabbeinu Ruba the Tziporin, Rabbeinu the great of Tziporin, Omar. Hini Rabbeinu Tziporin kadad Rabbi Shimon. Rabbeinu instituted a custom in Tzipori, like Rabbi Shimon, that produce of a non-Jew in Eretz Yisrael is exempt from Trumas and Mises. B'zir Amar Hini Rabbi Chanina b'Tziporin. B'zir Amar Hini Rabbi Chanina b'Tziporin kadad Rabbi Shimon. Also, similar idea. I think he's saying exactly the same thing. Okay. Rabbi Zira Amar Kumi Avo b'Shem Rabbi Lezer Avgad Memer Enkin Lakum Eretz Fochim Min Amaisrus. Even though my mayor says that a non-Jew is not a kinyan Eretz Yisrael to exempt from Mises, Modahu Hacha the Yesh Kinyan Nechas Leish Kinyan Nechasim. He agrees that he has a kinyan Nechasim. Now the Sharater so puts in these words. You don't have to put them in; it makes it more convenient. Mao kinyan Nechasim. What is a kinyan Nechasim? Rabbi Abba said, Achilas Peros, the right to eat fruit. Again, not to remove Chumas and Mises obligations, but the right to eat the fruit. It's not Kinyan Peros, not Kinyan Guf. And it's the Tzartes also changes V'hat Ninon to Ditz Ninon. Ditz Ninon, Halokech Mevi Bikurin, Mibnei Tikun Olam. So it says that if somebody let's see the Pnei Moshe. The Haskama, the Mukha Misa Misa Kamer, the Ktani Sham, Machar Stay Lak, we sold your field to a non-Jew. Because of Kachim Meni, we saw bought it from him back. How Lokeach maybe Bikurim. The buyer brings the Kurim Nei Tikun Olam. What's the Tikun Olam? Sheyedu She'en Lakum Kinyan Gomor. There's no the Kinyan non-Jew was not a complete Kinyan. Vishtadu Pidyoina. And the people make an effort to redeem the field. Miyodover him a Sanskrit, they should there be Klushasa. Parech and asks, Umay Ktanim Bimnei Tikun Olam. Yoy Bikurim Dvar Torah. What do you mean bring Bikurim the Tikun Olam? It's the Raisa. The whole right mayor, they can't lakum. Im kain midvar Torah chai b'sokech lo mimenu lo bikurim. It's the Raisa, right? And that's the Gemara says. Vad ditzina okech maybe bikurim nei tikun olam. Yoy Bikurim Dvar Torah, right? So it must be that although the conclusion is not explicit here, but the conclusion is that the fruit, the peiros, do belong to the non-Jew. He doesn't have a kinyan guf, but he has a kinyan peiros. The fruit does belong to him. So therefore, if you the fruit which grew in the non-Jew's land can't be brought as bikurim because it's not your bikurim. It's the non-Jew's bikurim. So though the land doesn't lose its kedusha, the fruit, achilas peiros, he has, and therefore, since he has achilas peiros, the bikurim brought for that is not midvar Torah. It's only midnei tikun ha'olam. And we got here now to the middle of them Tesam now, so we can stop here for